This is the second video in the series on calendar studies. In the first video, I was kind of exposing the Copernian revolution. I've gotten rid of the gum too, where the Earth revolves around the sun, not the sun around the Earth. That was the Copernian revolution. So when the Earth is revolving or rotating, spinning, what's the word? When the Earth is orbiting around the sun, it loses 4 minutes per day off of the 24-hour rotation of the Earth on its axis. If the Earth was just stationary in space, it didn't move at all around the sun, if it didn't orbit around the sun, then the 24-hour day concept would be valid. It would be totally correct. But it's, when Moses and other people in the ancient world, check this out, well, the sun just went down and it hasn't been 24 hours, This had to be going through their minds, something isn't right here. And so this leads me into going into the background of calendars and how did this all come about, the 24-hour day. And like, if you take the Egyptian culture, it's kind of obvious that the 24-hour day did not start out, it was not in effect at the beginning. It was 24 hours and 20 minutes per day, which would be, I believe, 1,460 minutes. So there's some myth or something where Thoth, the god Thoth, shook dice with Isis, and so the 20 extra minutes were moved to the end of the year. So you had a 360-day year, and then 5 days added on with these 20 minutes per day moved. So that 20 times 360 is equal to 5 times 24 hours, if you do the math. So that's how, these last 5 days on the Egyptian calendar, where each one of them was a festival for one of the 5 gods of Egypt. That's pretty cut and dried. I mean, you don't have to really, like some of this math I'm doing takes a lot of calculating and things. The Egyptian history is pretty cut and dried. I mean, as I said, it started out with 360 days on the calendar year, and then it evolved into a 365 days to incorporate these festivals to the gods at the end of the year, which I suppose would be a separate month. You had 12 months of 30 days. So with a 365-day year, you're missing a quarter of a day per year. So at how they dealt, the seasons would kind of, in the Egyptian calendar, the seasons would not occur at the same time every year. It's kind of like a floating seasons through a period of 1461 years. would be the cycle. It's called the Sothic cycle, based on a star, Sothis or whatever. When that star appeared again after 1461 years of 365 days, that would be the end of the cycle. So, which would actually be 1460 years in 365 and a quarter days. They didn't have any fractions back. Fractions are kind of a modern invention. So they were kind of forced to, I suppose you could combine 4 years and make a whole number, but evidently they didn't think of it back then in those terms of 4 years or 8 years. Or the Babylonians were the ones that came up with the 8 years of solar is equal to 8 years plus 90 days of lunar. So all these things are pretty cut and dried. I mean, it's only when you come into the Bible and you're trying to understand this 360 days calendar, what's going on there. Did Moses know that the Copernian thing about the Earth going around the sun? Probably not, but the recognition is there that the Egyptian Babylonian mindset is not totally correct. Well, maybe we should stop the video here. We could go further into Moses, I guess, but maybe at this point I've said enough background information. Maybe that's what I needed to do in this particular video. Thanks for watching. Bye.